You and Ngannou, for me, that right now is the fight to make.
I'm not sure on his circumstances. I know that he didn't have the best relationship with the UFC.
He's late 30s, you are in your prime. How you guys match up?
I like it. I like the fight. I think that he's very, very dangerous. But man, this is MMA. Well, you never know until you get in there, so I'll fight anybody.
Whoa, Tom Aspinall, good one?
Huh?
Tom Aspinall, maybe?
Who?
Tom Aspinall?
No.
Okay, fair enough. I asked Eric the same.
Tom Aspinall recently made headlines by claiming he would dismantle Francis Ngannou if they ever shared the cage. Even he admitted it's a dangerous matchup, but the bold statement has the MMA world buzzing. Fans are split, analysts are breaking it down, and the thought of Aspinall versus Ngannou has instantly become one of the most talked about fantasy matchups in the heavyweight division.
Ngannou is, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous punchers ever. He is an absolute physical specimen. I thought he was just dangerous with the little gloves on. He comes in from all angles, he throws all over the place, he's a little bit wild. And then obviously when he put the boxing gloves on, the 10 ounces, obviously that transferred over, and the guy is just an absolute truck. And I think that one of the things that is most dangerous, someone from my perspective, who is obviously an MMA fighter, I've sparred a lot of rounds with Tyson Fury, a lot of rounds with other professional high-level boxers, and the success that I have personally is when I do unorthodox things. Boxers, they've been sparring, they've been fighting since they're young. Let's say they're 30 years old, they've been sparring and fighting since they were 10. Most boxers have very similar styles. They're working behind a jab, a double jab, a 1-2, a 1-2 left hook, traditional stuff. Whereas MMA fighters, they're throwing punches on angles that they're not used to. They're doing unorthodox.
When he fought Stipe and he went to try to knock him out, by the middle of the fight, Francis looking like he saw a ghost.
Right.
Francis breathing out of his mouth and nose. How you breathe out of your mouth and nose at the same time? Francis doesn't manage to create a whole different way of breathing. And I love Francis.
Hey, don't talk about my brother like that.
Come on. Yeah. We talked about it. He laughed at it himself. Francis breathing out of his nose and mouth at the same time. Like, shit, I'm exhausted. Big Frank, exhausted. But then when he fought Cyril, Big Frank knew, leave a little bit in the tank. Yeah. I got to make sure I'm okay. Then by the third round, he wrestled. He's so fresh that he wrestled because he learned how to go 25 minutes.
Interim champ and champ, who is in the position to pick? The only reason why we get here is because the organization makes everything happen. They organize everything. But now, I don't think the blame should be on either John or Aspinall.
To clarify, Tom Aspinall didn't issue an official call-out of Ngannou. But when you place his comments in the context of today's heavyweight division, the potential matchup is hard to ignore. Aspinall openly acknowledged that Francis is among the most dangerous fighters in the sport, yet made it clear he believes he can compete with anyone. That self-belief alone has been enough to get fans buzzing.
I have a lot of respect for Francis, and I really appreciate his story. But it's hard to debate right now. The guy he's fighting, he's not elite, do you know what I mean? And the guys he'll be fighting in the future aren't elite, and it's as simple as that. These aren't the best guys in the world. The guy he's fighting fought a friend of mine and a training partner of mine, Ante Delia, last year, and Ante just destroyed him within a minute or two. Took him down, ground and pounded him, and stopped him within the first minute, and now this guy's fighting Francis Ngannou. So the guy isn't elite, his opponent. Yeah, he's big, yeah, he's powerful, yeah, he could knock you out, but he's not an elite heavyweight. I'm not disrespecting him, but that's just the honest opinion.
Yeah.
The elite guys are not in PFL. The elite guys are in the UFC. So, like I said, I've got a lot of respect for Francis and his story and what he's done in the sport. But it's difficult to say that he's the best heavyweight in the world when he isn't fighting elite guys right now.
I think if there was anybody that he could beat, it would be Wilder. He's one of the hardest punchers ever. But as far as actual boxing ability, his level's way lower than someone like an Usyk or a Tyson Fury or somebody like that. Both the guys' punching power is absolutely off the chart. It's absolutely ridiculous, out of this world. But I think he's quite hittable, and his fight IQ doesn't seem to be great. I think if there was any of them who he could beat, it would definitely be Wilder.
I'm imposing an International Fight Week deadline. Right here and now, I'm imposing this deadline. And by the way, they announced that they're going to do a press conference tour for Canelo Crawford, and one of the stops is June 27th, the day before Ilya versus Charles, International Fight Week, 317. I'm imposing an International Fight Week deadline. An announcement must be made. A decision must be made. That's when the eyes of the MMA world are on the UFC. It's their Super Bowl. announce Tom Aspinall versus John Jones, announce Tom Aspinall versus Francis Ngannou, which would be the ultimate swerve. Not going to happen, but would it be something? Or just announce Tom versus Cyril Gane. One of those. International Fight Weekend must be done. That's the deadline. I'm imposing that. I think they're going to adhere to my ultimatum. Greater chance of happening in your career before it's all said and done. Tom Aspinall versus Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall versus John Jones.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's so difficult to say, because if I sit here and say John's done, I don't know John. So I don't know if he is done or not. I don't know if this is normal.
Izzy yesterday said he thinks he comes back.
Maybe Izzy knows him better than I do. I don't know John. I don't claim to know John. I know he's going through some demons right now, and I genuinely wish him the best of luck. Genuinely. I have no ill will towards him at all. I hope that everything's all right with his life.
Do you think he retired because of all this?
I don't know. I don't know why is that why they announced it early, in your opinion?
I thought so.
Yeah.
And then I asked the reporter who broke the news, and he said he was sitting there. He saw the news. It was a local reporter in New Mexico. And he said, let me just take a look at the police records of the last few months, see if anything pops up. And there it was.
Oh, really?
It was in February and somehow got...
I wasn't sure if it was like a prearranged question.
Seems crazy. No, I don't think so. But it's just an insane coincidence. Maybe the UFC thought it was coming and they were trying to get... I don't know. But the whole thing is very weird.
I don't know. They said that they spoke to him last night, so maybe it was just fresh on his mind and he was just like, I'm done with this shit. I'm just going to say it. Who knows, man? They knew that I was coming to Vegas this week, though, so I don't see why they didn't just wait. But that ain't my job, man. I'm just here to fight people, that's all.
Tom Aspinall's the guy. He's the guy.
Dana White says I'm his man. We love that. We love that on the channel.
And what about Francis Ngannou? You having him? You want some?
The day that I start ducking out of fights and turning opponents down and stuff like that is the day that I'm going to retire. So, as I've always said, and you can ask any promoter I've ever worked with, any guys at the UFC, I'll fight anyone, I'll fight anytime, and I'll fight anywhere. Never turn down a fight in my life. Never will. The day that I start thinking about turning down fights is the day that I'll retire. So to answer the question, whoever they want me to fight is who I'm going to fight.
The heavyweight picture right now is anything but simple. Tom Aspinall is lined up to defend his interim belt against Cyril Gane this October. A fight many fans see as underwhelming compared to the matchups they've been hoping for. 4 months, the buzz was all about Aspinall versus John Jones. But that dream fight has been buried under UFC politics and endless delays.
So they've announced this White House UFC fight. Can we expect to see you on the card?
I can't promise anyone anything, but I have very strong feelings that I'll be on that card. It's going to be historic.
But who would you take on? Who would be your dream opponent?
I would want to take on whoever's holding the belt at the end of the year.
Any possible names you think?
Well, I mean, as of right now, the champion is Tom Aspinall, but we'll see who's the champion at the end of the year. The only thing to have an American guy fight for the championship that night, I'd be willing to put it all on the line.
Nice.
And that's a good thing because we're going to put on the best card we've ever done for that White House event. You know what I mean? It's going to be it's a one-of-one experience. Like when we did the Sphere, it's the Sphere on steroids. I mean, it's going to be a one-of-one event. There'll be nothing like it ever again.
There's one guy who could mimic a John Jones on the feet. It's Rika Verhoeven.
He's going to wipe the floor. He's going to wipe the floor with John Jones.
You believe
John Jones 100%. Doesn't have a chance versus Tom Aspinall. Mark my words. Tom Aspinall is a freaking monster.
I love it.
On his feet and on the ground. So, and I truly believe that John Jones has never faced somebody that is that good on his feet. On the ground, he's faced some guys that are pretty good. But on his feet, I think Tom is, he would even do good in the kickboxing ring. He would be a top competitor to fight me as well.
The fact that the illustrious career of John Jones, the supposed greatest of all time, ends at a post-fight press conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, is a joke. Is an absolute joke. I'm sorry, but this is an absolute joke. Tom Aspinall is going to Las Vegas. At the very least, present him the title. At the very least, do something to make it up for this guy who has been sitting there watching his career just waste away for the past 7 months. Oh, by the way, his last fight was almost a year ago, 11 months. Do something. This is the way it happens. This is the way it happens. Something that could have happened at the post-fight press conference in New York. Jon Jones never wanted to take this fight. And anyone who tells you otherwise is not telling you the truth. As I've said time and again, Jon Jones asked for a lot of money. He asked for the number that everyone was talking about. He's asked for a lot of money, and as I said time and again, he deserved that money. He earned that money. After much negotiation, the UFC got him that money. Did they ask for help? That remains to be seen, but they got him the number. And Jon Jones said he was in. And then a couple of days later, he said he was out. And ever since then, the UFC has been trying to convince him to come back, to take the fight, one last fight. And he said no. Dana White guaranteed this fight would happen. He guaranteed it would happen as recently as a couple of weeks ago. It was already not a thing. The way in which this has been handled has not been great. And the fact that Tom Aspinall, at the very least, couldn't get some sort of, oh, here's the belt, here's a ceremony, here's your fight, here's your date, is shameful.
So now, fans are left with Aspinall versus Gane. It's a technical and intriguing matchup, but not the blockbuster many were hoping for. And that's when Ngannou enters the conversation. With his crossover into boxing, devastating knockout power, and reputation as one of the most terrifying heavyweights to ever compete, the idea of him facing Aspinall feels like a true super fight. Supporters picture the clash of styles. Tom's slick boxing and grappling against Francis's raw, fight-ending power. Could Aspinall's speed and timing expose Ngannou? Or would one clean shot from Francis shut the lights out instantly? The community is split. Some argue Tom is too fast and too well-rounded, while others insist no one survives Ngannou's power and that Aspinall would get steamrolled. This debate has flooded podcasts, forums, and social media, dominating discussions around the division. Meanwhile, the official fight on the schedule, Aspinall versus Cyril Gane, comes with its own controversy. Aspinall has already voiced his frustration, claiming Gane doesn't deserve the shot and suggesting the matchup is more about UFC politics than actual merit.
Between the two of you, you guys have sort of been circling each other, and you referenced this in your video when the announcement was made. You said, you know, we've had, I think you said 4 opportunities to fight each other. This is his 3rd crack at a belt. I'm going to make sure this is his last time ever fighting for a UFC heavyweight title. You said that, right?
That's what I said. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes. And then I had his head coach, Fernan Lopez, on the program. And, you know, it was all going kind of well. And then it started to get a little spicy on his part, where he said that your talk has been annoying, that you've been whining, that it's not true, that you guys weren't in talks to fight, you know, 3-4 times in the past. Did you see any of these comments, and did you have any sort of response to them?
Well, somebody told me about them. I didn't see them. I'm trying to. I try and stay off social media when I've got a fight coming up. So yeah. I'm not like reading through all the time. My response to them is, with all due respect, I respect coaches so much, especially really high level coaches. But with all due respect, like, his opinion is quite irrelevant to the situation. Like, I'm just telling the facts from what I know.
It is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the pride of Wigan, the one and only Tommy Aspinall, Tommy Aspinall, na. Tommy Aspinall, Tommy, defending his undisputed gold, technically for the very first time, against the pride of France, the French prince himself, Bon Gamin himself, the one and only Cyril Gane. These two have been going back and forth for the better part of 2, maybe 3 years. Well, this was the fight that we all thought was going to happen in Tom's official first title defense, and so it is in fact going to happen. Tom wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. That was the sense that we got when he became undisputed champion. He didn't want to wait for New York. Let's be honest, the tax is a little better over there in Abu Dhabi compared to New York for an Englishman, for anyone, if we're being 100% honest. And so he wanted to be active. He wanted to fight in October. He wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. It's closer to home, and so they oblige. And you'll recall a few weeks ago I said, It's looking like Magomed and Alex, October 4th. It's looking like Tom versus Cyril, October 25th. And it's looking like JDM versus Islam in New York. That would be the next pay-per-view. Now, that hasn't been officially announced. That hasn't been signed, sealed, and delivered. But at this point, I would be surprised, considering how the chips just fell earlier today. I would be surprised if it doesn't play out that way.
I mean, I think it's the next best thing that we could get right now with John Jones not being able to do it and stepping away. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what Tom's plan is going to be, because I think on the feet, they're pretty evenly matched. I think it could be fun on the feet, but I think there's definitely a huge advantage for Aspinall when it comes to the wrestling and the grappling. And I think he'd be silly to not at least attempt to make it a bit of a grappling match and try to get the ground and pound, take him down. And we'll see. If he can defend takedowns, it could be a lot of fun. But if not, I think Tom can make some quick work. But there's a lot of pressure on Tom, man. We were talking about it on the pre-show this weekend that, you didn't get the Jones fight. You waited all this time, and now you've got to fight somebody else. And it's always tough because you want to win that one to really prove to everybody that, yeah, you are that guy. You are the great. You are the best. You're the reason John didn't want to take this fight, blah, blah, blah. If you go and lose that one, you just...
Yeah. Gaines' camp hasn't stayed quiet either. His coach fired back, accusing Aspinall of making up stories in the past about being avoided. The back and forth has only added fuel to the fire, giving their October clash a personal edge that fans didn't expect. Yet even with all that drama, the shadow of Francis Ngannou still hangs over the division. The thought of Aspinall versus Ngannou feels like more than just a fight. It's the kind of matchup that transcends titles, politics, and even promotional boundaries. It's a collision of styles, a clash of personalities, and the type of bout fans would pay big money to witness. And then there's the John Jones factor. With Jones hinting at retirement, sidestepping Aspinall, and Dana White openly saying he doesn't trust Jones to headline the White House card. The heavyweight division feels more unpredictable and chaotic than ever before.
One good thing to come out of this for Tom Aspinall, other than the heavyweight title, is kind of his aura now. When the greatest of all time won't even step in a cage with you, it builds up who you are, right? You have that fear factor. The guy who everyone was scared of is scared of him. How fucking good is Tom Aspinall? Very good is the answer. And it's funny because in all of the posturing that John did, in the tweeting and the interviews, and I don't care, I don't want to fight him, he doesn't do anything for all of that coping that we witnessed, where he was trying to say everything he could to make himself feel better about not wanting to fight this guy, and telling us all how unbothered he was in fighting Tom Aspinall, showed exactly how bothered he was. Because John Jones, even though he thinks he's smart, he's a child, right? And he doesn't realize in all of that coping, we can read him like a fucking book. And all he's done is kind of promoted Tom Aspinall for an entire year.
The silent assassin of the heavyweight division.
Okay, well then why didn't he fight him? If John's not scared, and we believe that, and it wasn't about money, then how do we interpret the refusal of doing it?
I think he's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
So me and Cyril, we've been supposed to fight each other a couple of times before.
Similar age as well. You were kind of both coming through, right? Well, he's a tiny bit older than you, isn't he?
I think he's a little bit older, and he has a couple more, or at least he started his career in the UFC a little bit earlier than I did. I was trying to fight him because he was like kind of just a little bit above me all the time. Fight never materialized. He turned me down a couple of times, to be honest.
Did you have any idea what you were doing next and when you'll be back in the Octagon?
I do. But I also want to keep my job, so there's not much I can say on it, to be honest. But
Will you be fighting this year?
I'm going to be fighting hopefully twice this year. That's my plan. At least I think I've wasted enough time. We're looking for we're looking to get a fight booked quick, and it's looking like it's going to be pretty soon anyway. And then hopefully, if everything goes well in the first one, I'm uninjured, which is, it's easier said than done. Getting through a fight.
The heavyweight division is not exactly on fire at the moment from a name point of view. I think the talent's there, but if you look 5+ years ago, just the name value in the top 15 was incredible. We're talking guys like Fabricio Verdun, Cain Velasquez, JDS, Mark Hunt, Alistair Overeem, Brock Lesnar. etc., etc. Like the list of Stipe, the list goes on and on and on. Like you look through the top 15 and you're just like, wow, that is incredible. Whereas now even me who's a heavyweight, I look through the top 15 and I'm like, I'm not really seeing him fight before, do you know what I mean? So
that's why fantasy matchups like Aspinall versus Ngannou have gained so much momentum. Fans are craving clarity, craving a showdown that truly feels worthy of the heavyweight crown. Aspinall himself has said he would demolish Francis Ngannou, while also admitting it would be a dangerous fight. That mix of confidence and respect is exactly what makes him so popular. He's not avoiding challenges, he's not ducking anyone. He's openly willing to test himself against the very best. And whether or not the fight ever materializes, the buzz is real, and the conversation isn't going away anytime soon.